Good morning. I'm Dwight Keene. I'm chair of the Kansas Corporation Commission. I'm joined this morning by my fellow commissioners, Susan Duffy and Commissioner Andrew French. At this time, I will call to order this meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission on this March 8th, 2022. Commissioners, the first matters before us for our consideration this morning are 29 items on the consent agenda. At the outset of our consideration of these items, I would note that I am recusing on item number 1, which is 22-CONS-3115-CMSC. And I'm recusing on item number 8, which is 22-CONS-3322-CPEN. Having said that, we have had the opportunity to review the draft orders in each one of these matters before us this morning. I would ask each of you if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I'll begin with Commissioner Duffy.
Thank you, Chair Keene. I have no questions or comments.
Thank you. Commissioner French?
No questions, and I'd move approval of the consent agenda, noting Commissioner Keene's recusal on items number 1 and number 8.
A second?
Second, I'm sorry.
Right. Then moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as described in the motion by Commissioner French. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I would call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. The next item for our consideration is a discussion item. This involves the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC. It's docket number RP 21-778, pardon me, in the matter of a Southern Star Central Gas Pipeline, Inc. Section 4 rate case. Our presenter this morning is Michael Neely, Senior Litigation Counsel. Michael, if you would, please.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners. On April 30th, 2021, Southern Star Central Gas Pipeline filed a Section 4 general rate case at FERC, requesting an annual increase in revenues of $141.9 million from its natural gas transportation and its storage customers, as well as an annual pipeline modernization surcharge totaling $528 million over 6 years, or approximately $88 million per year. The Commission intervened in the matter on May 6th of 2021 with our DC counsel, Jason Gray. Since intervening, the parties, including Kansas Natural Gas Utilities, consumer groups, other state commissions, and the FERC's technical staff, have had numerous technical conferences and settlement conferences in an attempt to resolve the matter. In mid-January of this year, the parties reached a settlement in principle, and now you have before you the final settlement document. There are many terms to the document, but the major items are as follows. The new rates are black box, and this is not specifically stated in the terms, but from staff's perspective, the increase is about $65 million per year, or a 24.2% increase. While this is a significant increase in Southern Star's rates, it is a significant reduction from their filed request, and it has been approximately 9 years since Southern Star's last rate case was filed. The cost of service in this case was heavily scrutinized and evaluated by all the parties involved, and the costs included in the rate increase were found to be necessary for the provision of safe and efficient interstate natural gas service. A modernization tracker, now referred to as Mod 2, is approved at $238 million of capital investment over 4 years. There's $88 million in the first year and $50 million in each subsequent year. This is critical capital investment to modernize and replace aging infrastructure on an aging interstate pipeline, which is vital to the reliability of the state's natural gas and electric utilities. There is a settled list of improvement projects that are eligible under the program, and there is a process in place under the agreement to amend the list. The KCC's staff were heavily involved in developing the final list of projects. Mod 2 will follow the same tariff and surcharge protocols that were used in Mod 1 from Southern Star's last rate case, with a few modifications. The parties agreed to a rate moratorium until November 1, 2026, and the agreement has a comeback provision requiring Southern Star to file a new Section 4 rate case with rates effective no later than that date. And as part of the agreement, Southern Star will withdraw its request for rehearing on the winter storage maximums tariff and accept the rejection of that tariff. And note that this was an item the KCC specifically opposed. Procedurally, the settlement itself was actually filed at FERC on March 1st, with a footnote indicating that the KCC staff could not bind the commission, but it would recommend to its commissioners that it either support or not oppose the settlement. The KCC staff believes this settlement is in the best interest of Kansas and recommends the commission authorize its DC council to indicate the KCC agency level support for the settlement in a supplemental filing at FERC. And that ends my prepared remarks, and I would take any questions that you have.
Thank you very much, Michael. Excellent overview. For purposes of expediting our discussion, at this time, I would move the commission authorize our DC council to indicate via a filing at FERC that the Kansas Corporation Commission supports the settlement agreements filed March 1st, 2022 in FERC docket number RP 21-778.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this matter. For purposes of discussion, I would ask if either of my fellow commissioners has any questions, comments, or concerns, and I begin with Commissioner French.
Just briefly, I'll make one comment. I think obviously there was a pretty sizable increase initially proposed in this matter. While the settled increase is still sizable, it's much smaller than what was initially proposed. And I think it's also important to recognize that this carries a lot of benefits for Kansas. I think we all know the struggles that there have been with building new natural gas infrastructure. And obviously that creates a need to support the infrastructure that we have. We're heavily reliant on transporting natural gas, as we saw during Winter Storm Uri last year. And so there is an importance in upgrading and maintaining these facilities. I'd also point out that we are relying more and more on intermittent natural resources within the state of Kansas. And those resources are backed up and supported by natural gas, largely flowing through this pipeline. And so that's another reason to support this agreement. So those are my comments. I think it's a balanced agreement.
Thank you very much, Commissioner French. Very insightful viewpoints, to be sure. Commissioner Duffy.
I concur with all the comments of Commissioner French. I do have a question for Mr. Neely. Are we aware of how that this is going to pass through that or does this look successful going forward as we
Yes.
file? Okay.
I have not seen any opposition.
Okay, very good. And with that, I guess we've already seconded the motion, so.
Right. I think that would probably conclude all of our discussion. I would simply subscribe to the views of both of my fellow commissioners. I couldn't, I join my poor powers to improve upon either of those comments. So having said that, I will call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. The motion is approved. Commissioners, if I'm looking at our agenda correctly, it appears that we have concluded all of those matters that were scheduled for consideration on our agenda for this morning, unless you have anything further to discuss. In which event, if you do not, I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned. I would remind everyone that in about 20 minutes, we are scheduled for an evidentiary hearing commencing at 9 o'clock. Until then, take care.
Thank you.